ladies and gentlemen, to Llamacast. Today is the 18th of April, and we have a very special guest. Honestly, I think I've known of Stone for since I started NFTs. You were always just chilling around our Discord. So yeah, then you started your own thing. You did a bunch of stuff. You didn't release your NFT for so long. You built the community for such a long time. So yeah, excited to have you on, Stone. If you want to give a quick intro to you, to yourself and what you do. I assume most of our holders know you, but obviously there's going to be listeners that are unfamiliar. So yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Helly. And like you said, I think you and I have been in at least contact via passing at the very least, ever since both of us got into the NFT space. So pretty full circle and, stoked to be in this position where we're both execs on big projects now and able
Yeah,
to kind of
it's
come
so
together and
weird.
collab.
We've known of each other, but we haven't spoken directly for such a long time. We DM'd about some random shit on Twitter that one time, and then my Twitter got suspended, so I couldn't reply to you. So it
Oh,
looked
is
like I
that
was
what happened?
yeah, I
I
think
thought
I
I was getting
told you.
egoed.
No, bro, honestly, my what did I do? Oh, I literally had my Twitter suspended for 2-3 weeks, and then I opened a support ticket, and they were like, "Oh, sorry, that was an accident," and they just unlocked it. I have no idea what happened, so I just couldn't reply to anyone. So I think I left you on red for 2 weeks. It was so funny. I'm sorry, but yeah, go on. Sorry, carry on.
Rugged by Twitter. Classic. But yeah, no, thanks for the slight intro. For everybody out there who does not know who I am, my name is Morgan Stone. That is my real name. You guys can call me Morgan or Stone. Typically everyone online calls me Stone though, so do what you will. I am the founder over at RooTroop. We are a project based around tree kangaroos and building the first on-chain job marketplace. I will dive into all RooTroop stuff later if you kind of want to compartmentalize me versus RooTroop. But in terms of who I am, I'm a 25, almost 26-year-old guy in Southern California. Come from the inside sales and biz dev world for some educational technology firms where I was selling software. Had a lot of success in that realm, but also was making music at the same time and DJing house music. And, along the lines of trying to make it in that world, came across NFT space. And, I had some peers like Space Yacht, saw people like Steve Aoki coming into the space and just bankrolling based off of their audio visuals that they were already making for promo materials. And so at that point, I got intrigued by NFTs. That was late 2020, so fall of 2020, I'd say. And just started researching, started watching what people were doing, really looking at Nifty Gateway, Super Rare, Foundation, the real 101 side of things, and actually started uploading my own audiovisual NFTs, which were just my music backed with the art that I was already having made. And we were going to be doing splits and, between myself and the artist and yada, yada. Quickly figured out that there wasn't really much of a market for music NFTs unless you were at the caliber of the people like Space Yacht, of the people like Steve Aoki. And I made it to a solid level in the music industry, but nowhere near that level to where I could just come in and, blast out NFTs and have them picked up ASAP. And so along the way of kind of immersing myself in the 101 side and exploring how to merge the music, I came across the PFP lane and, started finding all the DJs on Twitter. And, just to back up a little bit, I've been on Twitter. I've literally been on my same Morgan Stone account for, since 2011. So really kind of grew up on Twitter and know how to navigate the space. And, I think that helped and kind of how I ended up to where I am right now, which is I was navigating the 101 side of things, wasn't having much success there, but came across the PFP stuff, the investment stuff, the 10Ks, the 5Ks, following people like Function, following people like Bender, following people like Llama very early on. And just kind of went headfirst into that side of things. And at that point, I was still working in inside sales and biz dev. But as I kind of learned more and more about the space and, started spending more and more time here, my passion for 9-to-5 corporate life was just dwindling pretty quickly. And so I was actually pretty lucky. I consider myself in that very first group of people that found Llama and found, what ended up being Llamaverse. In that kind of original group that joined the NFT Llama Discord way back when Llama just had a couple thousand followers and said, "Hey, I'm the best alpha caller in the space. I'm gonna open up a Discord for free and provide that alpha to my community." And so jumped in here, really got to learn a lot through Llama, and developed kind of a friendship at the very least at that point, to where we at least knew who each other were. There was a little bit of a cadence between us, and just came in here and kind of soaked up all the information I could at all times, and was really focused on making a ton of connections and learning from everybody who was a bit more experienced than me, and also sharing the brought to the table and kind of the perspective that I had on things. And along the way, kind of was able to position myself as an alpha caller as well, which is like kind of funny to the people who know me now because I never talk about alpha anywhere, unless it has to do with RooTroop. But I think that's an important component of the story of how we got to where we are now, because I don't think I would have had the success in the space that I'm having right now if it weren't for this Discord. And that's not blowing it up by any means. And not to really touch on the project that will not be named too much, but I was in here one night. It was like August of last year, so 2021, and just hunting for free and cheap mints with a couple other degens in this Discord who are still here. And I think some of them have even been elevated to the team of Llamaverse by now. And we were just hunting for cheap stuff. We found a mint we really liked. We started pumping it a little bit, started buying in, started taking to Twitter, calling it as alpha. It was very low supply, very cheap. And then, we found out there was no kind of social presence from that project. And so I reached out and was like, "Hey, we are about to sell out your project. It's myself and a lot of homies who just bought in and got a lot of other people to buy in. There's no communications going on Twitter or Discord. There's like 100 people following the Twitter and like 75 people in the Discord, and you guys haven't posted a single tweet about what's going on.
No,
Can
it's just-
Yeah, I'm not gonna say the name, but you know the story, you know the project. And so I reached out to them and was like, "Hey, how about I take over the communications for the night? Because now I've got, myself heavily invested, I've got my community heavily invested, my family, like everybody." And they, literally like 2 or 3 messages later, were like, "Sure, here you go. Here's the login. We made you an admin in the Discord. Take over. We're going to bed." And at this point, I didn't know who they were. I didn't know their names. Like, didn't know who was involved in the project, anything. And so what happened next was kind of crazy. We ended up selling out the project within the next hour or so, and then went viral in the space. Every influencer was buying in, DJs, producers, celebrities. They were buying in, they were tweeting about it, they were joining the Discord, they were engaging with us, and none of it was paid. It was like 100% organic. And so why I say we wouldn't have had the success we had in getting to where I am with RooTroop right now is because when that happened, I hit up Llama and was like, "Hey man, we found this mint coming out of your Discord. How about you open us up a channel in here so we can kind of rally the community in here for that project?" And he did. I had my own channel in here that I was running for a week or so. And then I ended up having a difference of opinion with the founders of the other project, which resulted in us splitting ways and us starting RooTroop. So that's kind of the quick rundown of who I am, how we got to where we are, and yeah. Anything you want to dive into there?
Man, reminds me of the good old degen days of Llamaverse. It was what was Llama's just server then?
Yeah, it was
That was
just NFT Llama server, right? It was before
yeah,
there was even the
chaos.
Llama Pass, before there was Llamaverse, before there was any of that. It was
It
just,
wasn't even a
put
pass. It
on
was
for the
just
community.
yeah, anyone could just join and just fuck around. It's too good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great. Yeah, I remember you started the Discord, the RooTroop Discord for like ages. Like there was hello?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, sorry, it sounded like you were fading away. I just remember I've been in that Discord for such a long time. I think that's in the first few days. But I was just like so confused. I was like, what is Stone doing? What the
Yeah.
fuck is he doing? And then I remember a friend of mine was mentioning something that is like one of your AMAs where you were like super passionate about like people getting jobs in the space and getting paid, and I was like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. So yeah, I just remember when you revealed the animal. Didn't you say like you were expecting no one to get it? Did anyone guess what the animal was?
Yeah, so I think a little context will help here.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
Um,
I'm
no,
reminiscing about the very
yeah,
nice.
no, it's fun to have that, this moment right now. This is the first time you and I have really like hopped on for a one-on-one aside from, this meeting to set this up the other day. But
Yeah.
I think context helps here because what Helly's referring to is that when things fell through with that other project,
Mm.
it wasn't really our fault, mine or the team that I brought up with me there. It was a difference opinion with the founders, and that difference of opinion led to, a very obvious future that we saw and predicted, and has come to fruition, which was that if the plans they wanted to carry out were set the way that they wanted to, and they wouldn't listen to us at all and wouldn't flex and listen to the community, things weren't going to go well. And at that point, like I said, I was heavily invested. My community was heavily invested. And just to back up a little bit even more, when I joined that project, right, it was just to pump my own bags. It was just to pump my bags and like the homies in here who we were pumping it with. And what happened over the next week was, probably the biggest shift mentally I've ever had in my life. Where, I was very, very exposed to them. I had, 30, 40 of those NFTs, and I didn't sell a single one of them. And the most fulfilling thing to happen while we were working there was the community coming up and saying, and just for a little bit more context too, like we blew that up at 20x in like 2 days. So took it from a 0.01 mint to a 0.2 floor in 2 days and had like 500 ETH volume. And so what was happening was all of the community that we built up there were messaging me, jumping on calls with me and sending me, big testimonials saying, hey, I was able to flip this that I bought for $20 for 200 or 400. And, I was able to pay off this bill. I was able to pay rent. I was able to buy my mom this gift. I was able to buy my girlfriend this. Like, it was just very, very fulfilling to feel that I had a part in making other people bags when my initial intent was just to pump our own. And so, I tell you all this because what happened there is we built up a community just from the ground up organically. And we got really, really connected with that community. So when this falling out happened, it was very obvious to myself and to John, who's now my co-founder at RooTroop, that the community was going to get burned financially, and that they were going to go in the red because of these plans that the founders had. And so we got backed into a wall where it was like, we're not going to stay a part of this if that's the plan. So, we need to do something else. And so we wrote out a whole thread announcing our departure. And at the end of that thread, we said, we don't know what we're going to do yet, but no matter what we do, we're going to put on for this community that's going to get burned in this project. And so we started a Discord. It was just called the Stone Placeholder Discord with like my logo from the music industry as the
Man, I remember
image.
that name. That was a goated name.
Yeah, just the placeholders. And so we started that Discord just to house, all of the people, and instantly about 350 people flowed in. And so, we put out an announcement, said, look, we don't know what we're going to do, but, we're going to do something as a way to reward all of you people who were believing in us, another project, and, showing us your support. And, we don't know if it's going to be an NFT project. We don't know if it's going to be a business. We don't know if it's going to be just like a product that we make for y'all. Like, what, we don't know. But stay with us, and, loyalty, early believers will get rewarded. And so what happened was the next day we announced that everybody who was in within the first 24 hours got an OG role, and that whatever we ended up doing with that Discord, everybody with the OG role would get one free mint by default. And if they held any amount of the last project we were involved in, that's the amount of free mints they would get in the future project that still nobody knew any details about. So just to kind of put that in other words, if you held none of the other project, you got 1 free RooTroop when we minted. If you held 75 of the last project, you got 75 free roos when we minted. And there's literally somebody who did get over 70 free roos when we minted. So, from there on, it was about a 3.5-month process of just building in the public eye, building with the community. We didn't have a name, we didn't have a logo, we didn't have an animal, we didn't have a roadmap, we didn't have anything until like after the first week. But we didn't let the community know any of that until about 2.5 months into those 3.5 months of building. And so kind of our whole marketing haul and what Helly was referring to about the animal reveal was that our community started calling themselves the mystery animals. They started calling themselves stoners. They started calling themselves placeholders. And they were just in this community that felt, honestly, kind of like early days Llamaverse, where it was, there's no token here. There's no like financial component. It's just a bunch of like-minded individuals coming together for the purpose of connecting and, building together. And so we ran a competition. And let me back up a little bit, which is that we had the roadmap semi-planned. We had the name, we had the animal to go by day 3. So we put out a competition saying, anybody who guesses the animal that we are going to be, will get something when we eventually mint. And we had about 1,200 guesses, and only one single person got it right. And that was kind of the whole basis of our marketing haul, was like, nobody's going to know what the fuck we are. Nobody will know what this animal is even after we, announce what it is. They're not going to believe it exists. And so that was our whole, pre-launch stuff, just kind of building with the community, kind of seeing what they wanted, seeing what they needed. And the overall mission was just, how do we provide as much value to these people as possible? So yeah, one person got it right, and that is a tree kangaroo.
It's such a niche animal to get as well.
Yeah, definitely. And there's
yeah.
What's up?
I'm just saying, like, it's such a niche animal to get. Like, someone, yeah, that was ages ago. Someone's commenting that was like 8 months ago. It was a while back. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like, even longer. It's crazy. But there's a little bit of thought behind the animal as well, though, right? It was, a discussion between myself and John, and it went like this. It was one, what's an animal that has not been done as an NFT project before? Okay, that doesn't really narrow it down because there's a lot of unoriginality in the space and, so many different derivative projects. 2, what's the second biggest NFT region? Where is the biggest market behind North America? And at the time, we saw that as Oceania, so New Zealand, Australia. This was before the anime boom and kind of Asia integration into our NFT lane. So that was the first 2 steps, and then the third was, okay, let's find something really, really endangered, because we do want to bake in some sort of philanthropic aspect to our project. And so at that point, we have something that hasn't been done, something that's in the Oceania region, and something that's super endangered. And that doesn't really narrow it down at all, because there's so many animals in Australia and New Zealand that are endangered. And so at that point, it was, okay, let's find something that we've never heard of before. And we were just spending hours and hours and hours scanning through endangered species lists, watching endangered species documentaries. And we found the tree kangaroo, which is almost endangered or almost extinct. There's 2,500 left in the world. And they're literally, a foot tall mini kangaroo with a 1.5 foot long tail, and they live at the very top of the canopies in the Daintree cloud forest in Australia. So that was that was our mascot. We had already been kind of known for leading our community like in a militarized fashion, with the raids and posting up on Twitter and the memes and everything. And what do you know? A group of kangaroos is called a troop. So RooTroop.
Let's go. What a good intro. What a good intro.
That's the big all-encompassing backstory of the RooTroop.
Yeah. That's great. So yeah, someone mentioned that they had whitelist but faded the mint. I actually forgot to mint as well. don't know if you know. I just forgot to mint, and by the time I minted,
Classic.
by the time I went to mint, it was too late. So I actually bought on secondary.
Well, thank
But
you for your support, and
mine is a very good one. I like mine a lot.
you gotta send it sometime, bro. I need to see what room
I
you got.
did. I did in chat earlier. Let me try to do it again. There
Yeah,
we go.
yeah.
It's in the AMA chat.
Oh yeah, you got to fire one. That's gonna be real nice when rarity based staking comes out.
Yeah, bro. When we were talking at that meeting the other day, and then you were like, "Rarity based staking." I was like, "Let's go," because no mine's a rare.
Hell yeah, I love it.
That's
Uh,
great.
I saw a question in the chat. Like, should I just take questions as they're coming
Yeah,
in,
bro.
or
Yeah, just literally go for it. Yeah. Literally go for it.
cool. Spacey said, "What has RooTroop done for the roos so far?" And I'm gonna take that as in talking about the actual tree kangaroos. You know, if you're talking about the NFT holders, you know, correct me. But we just donated almost $30,000 to Rainforest Rescue, which is an organization in Australia based in the Daintree, and their goal is to buy back the land that is not privately or that is not protected in the Daintree. So our 30K went to buying the biggest plot of land that connected 3 other plots of land that they had already bought, and gives tree kangaroos their first full safe passage through the Daintree from the lowest elevation to the highest elevation. So this is great for breeding and for joeys to kind of gain their own stomping grounds. And it's great for kind of the overall life expectancy of tree kangaroos. And that's just kind of the first piece. You know, we're definitely looking for tons of ways to help out that species and you know, progress as we go. So
That's crazy. Fucking like helping a whole species of animal survive is just insane.
it was crazy, man. I'll find the tweet if you guys are interested. But go
Yeah,
ahead,
if you kind of
I'll let you
could.
continue. Here, I'm about to post it in there right now. So there's a recap on where our donation went for the Daintree. Very feel good, and worked really closely with their team, you know, ever since around November of last year. So months and months before we even were able to have the means to donate, we were setting this up because we knew this was a big component of our project. As someone with no mod experience, how would you recommend I get involved? I have entered so many bounties of RooTroop, but most are looking for experience. Yeah, I mean, keep doing what you're doing. My biggest recommendation to everybody is squeaky wheel gets the grease. And just to give you like a little bit of insight, and then I'll come back to the specific question. Is, you know, we just put out multiple bounties for RooTroop, and one specifically was a community manager bounty where I specified, you know, very explicitly that we were looking for people with extensive CM background and experience. That was partially true because it's partially true because we do want people with experience, but on the other side, it's kind of a test. We're looking for people who are tenacious enough to, you know, tenacious and confident enough in their skills to apply, even if they don't have, you know, community management experience. And so half the interviews that we actually have going this week are with people with no experience, but seem like they'd be great fits. So for you with no mod experience, you know, my thing with translating web 2 to web 3 is basically every web 2 job, you know, transfers over. It's just a process of breaking down what you do in your web 2 world, in your real life job, in your hobbies, you know, your passions. You know, what are you good at? Like, what is your role, and what skills go into making you great at those roles? What skills go into making you successful at those hobbies? And then kind of build up from there. You know, look at mods and other discords and see, you know, what skills from your perspective are making them great at their jobs. Is it that they are really active and responsive, and, you know, they're able to manage a community, they're able to, you know, kind of evaluate the mood of individuals who are coming in before responding to them? Is it the ability to take initiative and, you know, run things up the ladder and communicate well? You know, break that down and then tailor a resume around that. You're not going to have mod experience until you get mod experience. And Sam G in there, who commented right under you, he's a great example. He's someone who's in our community for a long time and added a lot of value, to the point where I personally reached out and said, you need to apply to these mod jobs. And he said, well, you guys are making us go through a junior mod position first, which is just a internship essentially and no pay. And like, I know I can be a mod. And I was like, well, that's our chain of command here. It's like, we want to test you out in a junior mod position. And then, if all goes well and you crush it for us, then, we're going to raise you up into a paid mod. And that's exactly what Sam G has done. He came in and knew he was better than a junior mod and, took that for a couple weeks. And, then we came back to him and said, hey, it's blatantly obvious that you've got what you need to do to, yeah, Sam was the best mod before he was junior mod. It's blatantly obvious that he could do the job that we would give him. So, I would just say join communities, provide value before asking for it. Like, make your skills known. Obviously this is a little bit different if you're applying to bounties, but you can apply that as well. Apply to the bounty and then join their Discord and show that you're interested and start helping people out, learn about the roadmap, answer questions. I can tell you from my perspective and, from the perspective of a couple other founders in the space, that I converse with, it's, we all need help. And, if there's somebody in the community who has taken time out of their own lives to dive in depth to the roadmaps that we built, the visions that we built, to the point where they're able to, relay those messages back to the community in a digestible way, shit, that's so valuable. That's so valuable because then it takes that off of our plates, allows us to continue on the high level stuff. And, it's just you coming in and showing that you know your shit. So I would definitely say, apply, apply, apply. You're not going to get reached out to by every single position. Because also, these positions are getting a lot of applications. And, I think Hellequinn can vouch for that based off the bounty he put out today.
I put out a bounty today, and I have, let me refresh, 69. I'm never joking. 69 responses.
69.
Yeah.
That's the most responses we've ever seen to a bounty. That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, 69 responses. So yeah, I mean, it's exactly what Stone was saying. Is 100% true. I mean, if you just look on the right hand side of our Discord, literally all of the Llamaverse staff was there as a part of the community from the beginning. Yeah, literally they just moved up. We're now moving 5 people to like an executive position where they'll be getting basically full-time employment, and we already have a bunch of full-time employees as we speak. We have a bunch of people literally from within the community that were literally just helping or making themselves heard, and that's how they got their job. So yeah, we even have like Pickle Rick. He's actually about to quit his job to come work for us full-time, and
Nice.
the way he did it was literally just be active and help out people and connect us to other projects. And yeah, literally just put him on the map for us, and we're like, well, we need someone to rely on as we're growing. Who can we do? And then obviously the easiest choice is Rick because we know him.
Yep.
So yeah,
I think Llamaverse is I think Llamaverse is a great example of hiring within and, showing that there's value in being a active community member. If you look on the right side of this Discord right now, like all these people were just members when I joined in the NFT Llama Discord at the same time. It's crazy. I would say 90% of these
pretty
names
much.
are, just community members and traders who built up and decided to go, full steam ahead. But I do want to kind of touch on that, which is, that process, which Helly and I are explaining of, joining Discords and being super active and making yourself known and providing a shitload of value. Like that's how you have to get a job currently in the space, but that's what RooTroop is kind of here to assist in and make easier, because it's unsustainable to think that every single role in this space is needed to like they need to join discords and be super active for hours a day, and to the point where founders know who they are just based off of their name and PFP. Like if you're a marketing guy like myself, if you're a sales guy, if you're trying to be a community manager, a mod, whatever, like yes, it's probably in your wheelhouse to network and connect with people and climb ladders and make yourself known. But if you're Solidity dev, if you're copywriter, like if you're 99% of the other roles, it's unreasonable to expect you to be super
Yeah.
active in discords to the point where you're spending so much time there and less time actually doing what you do to add value. And all of that is just to get in front of an entry level position application. That is just unsustainable as fuck. And what you have as a result of that is an entire community of talented individuals who want to work. They're hungry for work. They don't know how to find the jobs. And then on the other side, you've got, $1 million backed VCs, founders, CEOs coming into the space, creatives who want to launch these projects, and they don't know where to find talent. It's just like, it's ridiculous. So, that's kind of what RooTroop is here to do, right? Right now, we're exclusive for RooTroop holders and partner community holders such as Llamaverse. But the mission is to eventually be opened up for everybody and be a place where founders and community members alike can come together in an efficient manner and find jobs and find teams. If that happens, then more legit projects come out, and the
Yep.
process of start to launch gets expedited, and the space progresses forward. Of course, there will be more shit that comes out as a result of that too, but that's what you have to do. You got to play a numbers game. The more projects we can kind of empower to be launched, the more chance of successful projects being launched and the space being pushed forward. So it's kind of where we're coming from.
Yeah, and I mean, even the whole point about um devs and all that stuff is literally true. I mean, when I recently put out, what did I put out a full stack developer uh position and something else on RooTroop, and the full stack developer I found was just within our community. He was already the community holder. Like I saw his work and I was like, oh, this guy's pretty cool. And then so is Lam on PFP, and I was like, oh damn. So you would have never known that this person is and to that point, I know a bunch of our holders, animated holders especially, because I talk to them more. A bunch of them have like businesses, um, you know, in Web 2, and as you said, Web 3 isn't too far from Web 2. Like, let's be
It's
real.
not.
Like, it's
It's
really
just a
not.
culture.
So
It's not like anything physically different. It's not anything wildly different.
yeah,
It's just a
it
culture.
really isn't. Yeah. So a lot of these people just could, they can shine in the right circumstances.
For sure.
So yeah, and I mean, I read like 6 resumes that people are sending, and it's like people like fucking college degrees and shit. I'm like, yo, what the hell?
Yeah, you get some really qualified applicants, and they're
Yeah,
hungry to work. And I think that's the coolest part, right? Is like everybody's looking for work, and just posting a bounty proves that instantly. You don't realize how many people want to be a mod for Llamaverse, and then you post a bounty and you get fucking 69 applicants instantly. Crazy.
yeah. It
That,
wasn't even. Yeah, Llama mentioned it's 7 to 3 actually now. But
everybody in
um,
here is going to apply right now.
everyone's just literally yeah. No. God, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, Llama just mentioned that we were recruiting the other day on an AMA, and I got like 10 DMs, and I was like, Jesus Christ.
And that's
So
unsustainable,
yeah,
right? Like it's not good for the people DMing, because their DMs are going to get lost or not responded to, or responded to in a half-ass way. And it's not good for you because the DMs are going to get lost. You don't have the capacity to respond to every single one of these. And it's
yes,
one-on-one. Like there's some sort of intrinsic pressure to respond to people and to not leave them on red when it's via DM. If we can, streamline this process to where it's kind of, you don't get contacted unless there's interest, that's beneficial. It makes the process more efficient. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I
Um,
mean, it just makes sense. It
I
just
got
makes
a
sense.
couple questions in the chat if I can answer those.
Yeah, go from it.
Someone said, is anyone copying RooTroop's bounty utility? And look, like I'm not, I'll be the first to tell you, like there are other job boards out there. We are not the first Web3 job board. We are not the first bounty board by any means. We will be the first on-chain job marketplace. Right now, we are a bounty hub while the marketplace is developed. We started with that bounty hub within the RooTroop Discord. And then recently, about a month and a half ago, we built out a web page. So you can actually go to jobs.rootroop.com, sign in. It is token gated. So that means, anyone with our tokens or any partner community tokens can log in and see all these listings and apply. Um, again, there are other bounty boards, there are other job boards, no problem. We are here to build the first on-chain job marketplace. Also, just say I think we're the best job board out there. So, I'll leave it at that. But OXHB, I sent you the submit bounties thing. So yeah, just kind of submit in there. If you need an editor, be very detailed in your submission. Definitely include a rate. If it does not have a rate, you're going to get an angry email from my co-founder John, who's going to tell you you can't submit it until you put some money behind the words. So just do that. There's a slight vetting process, but
Yeah,
it's pretty quick, and then it'll get posted.
I mean, it's pretty smooth. Only thing I'll suggest is getting the information in a more neat way, which will probably be in the future. But it's a bit clunky with the Excel sheet and all that stuff. So I think if it was like we're probably gonna work on this. If there's like an employer's portal on the website, it would be really good.
Yeah, as I said, the Bounty Hub is just a temporary solution.
Yeah,
Initially, it was just supposed to be in the Discord. We kind of took it upon ourselves to build out a web page and make it a little bit nicer of an experience, but totally aware it's minimum viable product right now. The marketplace is going to be very professional, very extensive. There's going to be features for both employees and employer side, not just catering to one side or the other. We really find benefit in catering to both. So
yeah.
let's see. Ryan said, what are your thoughts on having an advisor or multiple on a project team, and who would be your top 5 in space?
I've got a few points on that. Oh, by the way, Stone, mate, we have like almost no filters on this podcast. So if you want to name and shame people that douchebags, go for it, mate.
I mean, look, I've kind of made a vow over the last couple of days to kind of step away from drama for the time being, at least. So,
The word drama is just an excuse to not get into it. No,
I,
honestly, sometimes people need to get called out, and some issues need to be addressed at times. But I'm not saying like fight anyone. I'm just saying.
yeah, look,
I'm just
I'm
saying
not.
you're free to discuss like topics that some people might see as controversial on this podcast. That's what I'm trying to say.
I appreciate it. So
Yeah.
let me just preface this by saying, I think there are, very, very, very few people in this space who would be actually beneficial as a project advisor.
Very
Um,
few.
very, very few. I think Llama is a great advisor. I was a great advisor when I had the capacity to do that. Um, Past that, I can't really say many, to be quite honest. And the reason for that is the space is so volatile. Anybody who tells you they know how to sell your project out is full of shit. Anybody who tells you that bringing them on board and paying them an upfront fee plus taking a percent of your mint, based off of 1 or 2 successful runs they had out of a dozen, full of shit. So you
I was
know
gonna keep quiet, but
yeah, I think we're thinking around the same lines here,
yeah.
and like
It's
yeah.
people gotta realize that when you're on our side of the like this of the situation, like we know that we know what you know what goes down. Not like the public that doesn't know. Like they don't realize things that are just stupid. So
Yeah.
most of these advisors, like they just slap a mutant ape on their on their PFP, have like
Oh, I
a
need to
bit
be
above
one
20,
thing.
a bit above 20K
You're
on Twitter,
savage,
and
bro. You're
they're
savage.
just they're just magically gonna sell out your project. Like they're not. Like
Uh,
they just slapping their name on something doesn't sell out. Trust me. They
oh my
pumping
god.
my engagement on my 6K followers. I shit post once in a while, and post the same tweet like 3 weeks apart as a Llamaverse update. Gets more interaction than they do. Think about it. If you're just honestly,
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
telling them Jesus. Yeah, I honestly don't care. I'm to the point where like I've seen so many projects get borderline scammed by these so-called advisors, and it's like a level where someone becomes an advisor, and then I've been an advisor. I was an advisor on a charity project, Jolly Elves, if you guys remember that,
Oh,
and
yeah, I
so was
remember
Llama,
Jolly
and
Elves.
yeah. So on the other side of that, you can be an advisor, you can give the best advice, and then no one fucking listens to you, and you look like a mug. So
Yeah. So let me answer this, and I think it's a statement that you and I could probably align with here, which is
yeah,
that there is benefit to bringing on kind of an hourly advisor
yeah,
for
yeah,
your team to advise with as a project founding team.
yeah,
I do not see any benefit to having a set advisor as your project advisor. It is doing yourself, your project, your community an injustice to believe that one person's opinion on your project can sell it out
yeah.
and make
It's
it successful.
yeah,
So, just to let me wrap it up there, which is
yeah,
that,
yeah, yeah.
I initially was doing project launch advisement where I'd come on for a percent. I had success for a couple and, was unsuccessful for a couple, but I also didn't take a upfront payment and, it was very sales based. It was commission based. If we sold out, I got my percent and, if we didn't, I still got the percent. It was like fucking pennies on the dollar. And so,
Exactly.
what I found to be more beneficial to the projects I worked with and to myself looking out for my own bags was that, I just set up a profile on office hours where people could book me for hourly sessions or 30-minute sessions. And it was, hey, bring your ideas to the table. I'll give you my perspective as somebody who's been in the space for a year. And, from what I've seen, and, I'm not going to be a part of your team. You cannot use my name to promote your project. And, I'll be here as a resource if you want on an hourly basis. But like, I'm not going to take a percent. I'm not going to take an upfront payment. You're going to pay
Yeah,
for my time, not for the
exactly.
thought of selling your project out. So,
And I mean, it's the thing. Like most projects are gonna get more useful advice and information from one meeting with our collab team
yep.
than from their advisor. So
Well, I think a big reason for that, right, is, this is Web3, and though it is not it's not a physically different landscape, it is a mentally different landscape. And what I mean by
yeah,
that is people here are smart. People here are in Web3, they're in NFTs because they are sick of being marketed to by mainstream Web2 companies, where it's a Web2 company pushing product on you and you paying for the product, and there's no reward for that. People here see right through that bullshit. And that's why the marketing tactics are so different in this Web3 world. And so, with that, you think that an advisor who's just copy pasting their tactics to one project to the next, to the next, to the next, you think that they're going to get through to this community who's too smart to see through that shit? Like, come on. It's, yeah, I don't know. I could go on
yeah,
for days about that, but
absolute bullshit. Yeah, absolute bullshit.
yeah, but good
Um,
question. Good question.
yeah, yeah, don't even. It's not a podcast episode if we don't mention. Actually, I'm not gonna go there. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'll keep the good vibes going. I think people that listen like weekly are gonna know who I was gonna mention. But yeah,
I hope certain people aren't listening to this, but I mean,
bro, I
fuck.
don't care.
You don't care. I don't want the goddamn drama, Helly. I'm
No,
sending them to
it's
you.
not drama. I'm just talking in general. Like it's we're generalizing people. If someone comes in here to defend themselves or tries to defend themselves for some reason, like that is them suggesting that we're talking about them, which means that they have some guilt. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Let's move on. Let's move on. But I do agree that your idea of an hourly rate situation is very good.
It's
So
beneficial to
yeah,
both sides. You know, if you're the
yeah,
advisor, like you don't want to tie yourself to a percent on this volatile of a market. And it's also like if you feel like if you can sleep at night charging, 5, 10 ETH up front to a project before you even get to work, then that's fine. But,
I
speaking for
can't.
myself, I couldn't do that. Like,
I could not do that any
so,
day.
it's
So yeah.
beneficial for all sides. Watch out for your bag, watch out for theirs.
Hmm.
Build
Hmm.
together. Let's
All
see.
right. It was a very funny message, but I'm not gonna read it out. But
Oh, that one by He-Man? Is that one?
yeah, that was a funny one. Because it's true, but it's funny.
Oh, wait. Is
But
that what
yeah,
he's charging? That's crazy.
it's not. But no, there was like a leak of like his charge pay rate, and then Shan was anyway.
I love it. Helly dropping the alpha that we didn't know we needed.
Yeah, no, this is like me like holding back. Usually we just start roasting people. And honestly, I will say it here, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If I'm talking about someone and criticizing them, I'm not scared of them. I would welcome them on this podcast to discuss it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Hey,
I was criticizing MoonBirds before they minted for their high mint price. And I tried to I'm trying to get Ryan Carson on our podcast eventually.
ask him
So we
about
could
why
talk
they
to him.
minted for 2.5 ETH.
Yeah, I'm just saying if your team is so good, which I believe the team is good, I know of them. I don't know of people that are close to them that I've spoken to that know and appreciate the experience. But if you're so good, just mint at 0.5.
Yep.
Why would you mint at 2.5? And anyway, like there was a whole bunch of reasons that I just didn't like. And I'm a utility maxi, so if something doesn't give you anything, then it's not worth anything for me.
Yep. I'm fully behind that vision. You
And
ask him why
yeah,
people
sorry.
were buying Unrevealed for 80 ETH. Something
Yeah.
I'm interested in.
And I was criticizing, and again, I was criticizing them, but I didn't enter the raffle, so I had I had nothing in the game. I was just outside perspective, and I actually asked a few questions. I'm actually gonna send a screenshot because I think it's kind of funny if I can find it. But I gave my feedback in the group. I was like, after it launched, I was like on 9-10 E floor. I was like, I don't think any NFT, no matter who the team is, should have such a high floor. And then someone called me a hater in that group, and this group has got like Gary V and like all those people. And they just spent like the guy was like, no hate, just have fun. And I was like,
Yeah,
how much of a
Gary's gonna say that while he's pumping and dumping everything.
no,
Jesus.
it wasn't Gary, it wasn't Gary, it was just some dude.
Okay.
And I was like how much of a like echo chamber is this group if you're just saying that when I'm giving like honest opinion that I don't even have stake in the game. I'm just one second. I'll find a screenshot. It's just too funny. The guy's
That
like, don't
perspective.
hate, just have fun.
Yeah. It's like bad response when you're asking tough questions.
Yeah, I mean
Uh,
it's anyway. It's just one
while
of those
while you
things.
find that, I'll respond to another question that came through.
Yeah,
Sound
man,
good?
go for it, go for it.
Someone said, "What would you tell some of the people who want Web3 jobs but are inexperienced and they don't know where to start to get experience so they can have the skills?"
Just local
We
communities.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we kind of touched on that um earlier, which is, just kind of squeaky wheel gets the grease and, also break down your web 2 job, right? Which is,
Mm.
if you're a inside sales account manager or something like that, what skills go into making you great at your job? Are you tenacious? Are you, a grinder? Are you good at networking? Are you good at marketing? Are you good at selling stuff? Like, then look at community managers, look at founders, look at mods, see what they're good at, see what they're doing, and see why they're good at it. And break it down, and then kind of build back up from there, and see all the overlap that you will definitely see, because pretty much every Web 2 job is transferable into Web 3.
This is what I said.
Yeah. MoonBirds is crying.
I was like, I just stood. I think I was going home. I just had bought some pizza, and I was just like walking down this massive hill, and I was just like, let me try to like pick these people's brains, and then,
Yeah, all good.
bro,
No hate, just have fun and send us 50,000 ETH on day one.
I was just like, bro, I was like not sure what the hate is in that statement, and then people just started going like off topic, just like, it's just too funny. No,
Damn,
no,
you called them criminals.
I didn't call them criminals. I said it's criminal. Like that's a saying. It's not. I'm not stating that anyone's a criminal. I said it's criminal, like the situation.
Not Helly coming out with the fucking the punches today. I love it.
Bro, I honestly, I'm at this point where like, let me find this.
Yeah, there's another question that come through, which was there are agencies in the Web 2 world that provide accreditation of skills or elite level vetting, e.g. Optal. I don't know what that word is. Do the roos want to move towards that angle, or is it going to be less rigorous and more about opportunity? Definitely more about opportunity. Not necessarily looking to vet skills and like give people tests and allow them to kind of reach, I don't know how to say it, like I don't know. I can't come up with the word, but no, not really going that route. But the cool part about being an on-chain job marketplace, which is where we are headed, is that we're able to utilize the power of the blockchain, where we all know and love our NFTs. They provide proof of ownership in a beautiful way. Why not provide proof of work done? So not necessarily
Um,
providing
you-
accreditation of skills, but taking the trust out of those transactions between employers and employees, where if you're a founder and you're hiring someone who says that they worked for this project and they worked for that project and they did this and they were paid this much, there's a level of trust you have to extend, and just kind of taking them at their word, when really, like, there's a lot of money being exchanged, and we should be able to take a
oh,
lot of that trust out of the equation. So if
you're
there's
gonna
proof of work.
love our meeting later.
Oh, baby, I'm looking forward to it then.
So I'm actually gonna hint a bit here. So we're developing this platform, NFT Learn, and part of what we're doing is literally that. So we're literally gonna verify people's positions in our Discord and stuff in form of an NFT that gets updated.
Interesting.
So
Interesting.
literally, people will be able to check like their old positions and all that stuff via that NFT and what they've done.
Yeah,
So,
we need to talk. I guess we have a meeting scheduled in like 45 minutes, so
bro,
we're
do
good.
you want to tell people what I did?
What? Oh, about our timing? God damn,
Yeah.
man. I'm
So
like,
like,
dude, let me just preface this by saying I
funny.
am like the scheduler in my circle, like in my friend group, in our project. Like I need to have everything on a schedule, on the calendar, days in advance, and really nail down like, hey, you're gonna be there at this time. And yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So
Hate my ass.
so Stone is in PST, which is Pacific time. I am in like people don't even know my time zone right now, but in my head, we scheduled in EST, which is a 3 hour difference than where Stone is.